Hello, everyone. It's Danni, MMA fangirl, and your favorite Aussie fight fan here with you today. We're going to do a rapid fire breakdown of the UFC Edmonton card going down in Canada, headlining Brandon Moreno taking on Amir Albazi. Aussie, how are you doing today?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Ready to get stuck into this card. 14 fights for the Canadians, Edmonton, isn't it? So, yeah, pretty good for them. 14 fights, and hopefully the pacing isn't terrible. But I think it's normal start time for us, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Finally back to a good one after Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a good card. I'm actually really pretty keen. Like until I started going through with it, I didn't realize there was so many good matches on there, and I'm actually probably more excited about this than the next pay-per-view that's coming up, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Well, they got some heavyweights on here. Obviously there was no girl fights in Abu Dhabi. They've got a few female fights on the card, so of fights for sure.
Absolutely. Well, with that, we did promise a rapid breakdown, so let's get right into it. So the main event of the evening, so we've got 5 rounds at flyweight. We've got Brandon Moreno, the former flyweight champ. He's taking on Amir Albazi, who's running a pretty decent streak. How do you see this fight going, Aussie?
Yeah, I kind of like Moreno here. He's been fighting the best of the best for a long time, so yeah, it's going to be nothing new to him. He's had a ton of 5-round fights. Albazi, this is kind of, he's just kind of coming off back surgery, coming off heart surgery, whatever that was. I don't know. I haven't looked too far into it, but I mean, it doesn't sound good. Maybe it was just a simple procedure, but he was having some heart problems. And none of that kind of really points, pointing me in his direction to kind of back him here, even as a slight underdog here. So, yeah, I like Moreno. I think he's going to be a lot faster on the feet. He has a size disadvantage, a strength disadvantage. He hasn't seen before. He's been in with big guys like Figueiredo. So, yeah, I'm expecting he can probably get it done here. Maybe, win 3 out of 5 rounds. But it's probably going to be close. Some of these rounds where we're scratching our head, thinking, "Geez, who won that?" So yeah, hopefully it's a good scrap. But yeah, I've got to kind of lean towards Moreno on this one.
Yeah, I don't mind this one at all. And I know certainly there's been a lot of injury on Albazi's side. He's actually not been that active if you flick through like his record. His last fight was the decision split against Kai Kara-France, which came in June last year. So that's quite a bit of time off. It's great to see Brandon back after a bit of a break. And I do think I saw something on social media where he's talking about just, his mental health. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. But I do agree with you on this one. I could certainly see Moreno probably edging out a fairly convincing decision.
Yeah. So, yeah, both guys, I mean, this has got title implications over it. This is getting that title shot, mainlining the card. So, yeah, it should, be a big step in the right direction for both guys.
100%. And with that, let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. We've got Thug Rose Namajunas taking on Erin Blatchfield. When you talk about title contention, this fight has it written all over it. So obviously Manon should theoretically be next in line to take on the dominant Shevchenko. However, I'm sure the winner of this is certainly going to be held in good stead. So not too much to say here about Rose. We all know who Thug is. Has she looked amazing at flyweight? She looks fine. I still worried about her putting on the muscle and the size. I think she needs to be more dominant in that division. But having said that, I could be surprised. Aussie, again, how do you see this one taking place?
Yeah, this is the more I look into it, kind of the more I like Rose. I wasn't really too excited to go and bet this fight either way, but I just think Rose is going to be a more technical striker on the feet. She's going to be faster. If it goes to the ground, I don't think Rose is, lost on the ground at all. I mean, she's been, she started her whole career as a jiu-jitsu girl and kind of found her striking with Trevor Whitman and went from there. But I think she's going to win most minutes on the feet that aren't, in the clinch position. I think Rose is going to be winning these just with her speed and her straight punches down the middle. She's got really good kicks as well. She can really mix it up a lot better than Blanchfield. So, yeah, I think Blanchfield is probably thinking maybe I'm going to take this fight to the ground and try to bully Rose a little bit. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really counting Rose out in this fight. Again, Rose has been at the top of the mountain, a lot of 5-round fights. She's been against bigger, stronger girls than Blanchfield, even though, you know, some of them been down a division. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Rose here. I think even her submission price at is kind of crazy. I mean, if you look at Rose, we'll have a quick look down. I mean, she's got a lot of submission wins here, you know, all over the place, even up until the last round, you know, to round 5. And this is a 5-round fight. So, yeah, I really don't mind Rose submission here at plus 1,700. I've seen today you can get it plus 1,800 at Bet365. So I wish I had waited for that. But, yeah, give me some Rose by sub, man. You just never know. She could hurt her on the feet, take her down, or knock her down, get something there. So, yeah, I'll just take a stab at that Rose submission line at that crazy number.
Yeah, I absolutely love that from a betting standpoint. Question for you, though. So both these ladies have dropped a loss to Manon Fior. Who do you think lost in worse fashion? I'd be interested to see. Like, do you think Rose held her ground a bit more, or, you know, Erin didn't look amazing against Manon?
How recent were they both? It was like not both of their last 2 fights, was it?
So Rose dropping that loss was 3 fights ago because she's on a 2-fight win streak, and this will be Erin bouncing back from that loss.
Yeah, just 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. So, yeah, and a while ago for Rose. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Manon Fiorot is probably, the rightful next contender for sure. I mean, she's beaten a lot of top girls. So, yeah, I mean, they were both decision losses. The both girls took her to the distance. So, yeah, I can't really remember too much about Rose's fight with her, other than she just kind of seemed a lot smaller and really just didn't have much to give. You know, she just couldn't handle the bigger girl. But in this Blanchfield fight, I think she's way faster on the feet, and I think that's going to be the difference here. As long as Blanchfield can't grab a hold of her and bully her, I think Rose is going to have her moments here for sure. And she's you know, outside of that one loss to Carla, you know, the judges have been kind of friendly towards her. So, yeah, we'll see if Rose can get one more win under her belt.
Definitely. Certainly looking forward to that one. All right, moving on to what is going to be an absolute barn burner, or it could be an absolute snooze fest. We have Derek Boulder Hot Lewis taking on Jonata Danni. Derek's been a little bit more subdued in the media this week, suggesting he might not take his pants off. And I think I speak for a lot of fans that, come on, dude, that's one of the best parts about when you win. So, Aussie, how do you see it going?
Yeah, I guess him taking his pants off is kind of his version of the shoey, right?
Yeah.
He gets the crowd hyped up, and his balls are hot. Whatever he wants to say, his post-fight interviews are always great. So, yeah, we love to see it. But Denise, man, he's impressed me so far. You know, he won his last fight against Carl Williams, and that was a tough fight, man. I remember I had Carl Williams in that. I thought he was just going to wrestle him and really manhandle him on the ground. But, I mean, Denise managed to win a lot of minutes on the feet and kept it standing. But Derek Lewis, I think he's the hardest puncher in the division, you know, especially now that Ngannou's gone. You know, he's got Knockout King tattooed on his chest. I mean, even in this fight, Denise is a much more technical kickboxer, but he's got to watch his P's and Q's. If Derek Lewis lands, there's a good chance you're going to sleep. So I think this fight might go a little bit longer than what everybody else is thinking. Lewis has got a ton of round 2 finishes, round 3 finishes, you know, and even he's dangerous. He carries his power all the way through. Even when he looks gassed and tired, he's still dangerous. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough night for Denise. He's got to really watch his P's and Q's. But I like the Black Beast here. I got a decent bet on him already. And I wouldn't be surprised if he even gets a takedown here and really kind of does to Denise what Austin Lane was doing. I mean, Austin Lane, when was that fight? 5 months ago. You know, Austin Lane took him down in round 1 and really kind of manhandled him there. And, I had Denise round 2 in that fight, and that cashed, and that was, you know, a really good price. I think it was plus 500 or 600 or something. But, yeah, man, I like Derek Lewis here. I think the big guy can get it done. I think Denise hopefully doesn't just kick Lewis's leg into oblivion, but he might do that. But at this price, this underdog price, I mean, Derek Lewis can put anybody out. So you've always got to consider that. Plus, I think if he does fight smart, he's probably going to get a takedown or at least hold the knees against the cage and get some work done. So, yeah, fingers crossed Black Beast can get it done here tonight. And yeah, otherwise, if Denise wins, I mean, that's what an incredible win on your belt. You got the Black Beast, on your mantle there. So yeah, fingers crossed. It's a really good fight and not a snooze fest. These guys could come out and just stare at each other. Denise might be the counter punching, but yeah, hopefully it's a really good fight.
Yeah, I agree. You never know how these heavyweight fights go these days. I'd certainly agree. I think Derek's got the edge in every which way, but Denise, he's hot. He's coming in fast. He's on a perfect unbeaten streak. He's only been to decision once, so he is definitely a finisher. He's going to have a lot of confidence in knowing that you have Derek Lewis across the octagon, and wanting to take that scalp is going to be massive motivation. But certainly hoping it is a banger. So we're going to move to the next fight, which is also in the heavyweight. Is this 205 or heavyweight? Sorry, I take that back. So this is at light heavyweight. Caio Machado. Yeah, Tapology is, and I apologize if this is incorrect or it changes, but Tapology is telling me this is 205. Caio Machado, 8-3-1 out of Brazil, also taking on the Brazilian in Brenson Ribeiro with a record of 15-7. Interesting. So somebody missed weight, or this is the catch weight? I haven't caught up on the news this week.
Well, they wouldn't have weighed in yet, would they? So I believe it's at 205.
Okay, I might be coming down a weight class.
Yes, I'm not sure.
He might be because he's
Machado is. I think Ribeiro was already here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's always an interesting factor. You got a heavyweight coming down.
It says 205. Yeah.
Yeah, he's dropped losses to Don'Tale Mays and Mick Parker, and so it's probably a good thing to try. So who you got on
for sure. It's funny. I was just scrolling down the Tapology page. They got Ribeiro, a decent favorite, and they got him 83%. Think he's going to win by knockout. He's an underdog, right? I think he's plus 140 or something like that. So, yeah, definitely some value on Ribeiro. I thought I haven't really seen anything from Machado that I'm really excited about. And a couple of fights leading up to the UFC, he got a couple of submission wins, but I just don't think that that's going to be really what he's going for here. He's never attempted a takedown in the UFC, or at least he's never got one. So I don't really think he's going to drop down in weight and then start to be a size bully. I just don't think that's going to be his game plan. But Ribeiro, on the other hand, he's really good at check and leg kicks. Like, he's phenomenal. Like, he checks every kick that comes his way. He's got really good striking in the pocket. He's a precision striker, but then he can mix it up in the pocket as well. But that kind of got him in trouble in some of his past fights. Losing to Zhang, that knockout to Zhang he really had Zhang hurt. I think he might have hurt his orbital bone or something. Zhang was kind of holding his eye like he'd been poked. Referee said, keep going. And then Ribeiro went in for the kill and ended up getting knocked out himself. So, yeah, that was kind of a strange fight. And then in his last fight, Gadzhi, I mean, he had him dead to rights, man. I mean, he really destroyed Magomed's leg in that first round. He really beat it up to the point where he had to fight southpaw. But once he got on top of Ribeiro couldn't do nothing. He was a turtle on his back. So, I mean, maybe Machado should come in and go for takedowns here. I just don't think he will. And if this is on the feet, this is anybody's fight. I think either guy can knock each other out. Really, I don't mind anyone taking the dog shot on Ribeiro. Haven't done it myself, but yeah, I think there's definitely some value there. We'll see if Machado makes the weight.
Oh, exactly. Well, it's just two things I was going to cover before we move off this one. So his last fight, Caio Machado, was 5 months, 4 weeks ago. So he was last checked in weight was 251 pounds. That's a shit ton of weight to drop between now and then. I'm assuming nutrition, everything would be on point ideally, but that might be a hard cut toward the end. The other interesting fact I was going to pull out is both these guys are on a 2-fight losing streak. And the win before that is both where they got their Dana White Contender Series contract. So I strongly suspect one of these guys will be fighting for their contract. Whoever loses is going to get cut. You can't come off of Contender Series, drop 2 losses and a third. I just don't see it happening. It's going to be a lot of motivation. I think this could be hectic.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Both these guys need a win, and they need it pretty bad. They need to really get a convincing W here.
Absolutely. All right, so moving back down the main card. So we have the Canadian Marc-Andre Barriault taking on Dustin Stoltzfus in the 185 division. How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind this fight. A lot of people are carrying on that it was on the main card, but yeah, I really don't mind it too much. Barriault's been around for a long time. You know, he's had fought some decent fights in the UFC, but again, the Canadian here, and Stoltzfus is going to have to come in and play spoiler. I haven't really looked into this fight too much. I just know that I'm not going to bet it. So it's going to be one of the last fights I've kind of really looked at. But I see a lot of people with a bit of confidence in Stoltzfus. I don't really see it myself, but I guess it's the price tag that's getting people over to his side there. But Barriault, he's pretty good. He can really even make you work for the full 3 rounds. That's why he calls himself the power bar. He's I don't know if he's got any round 3 finishes as of late, maybe. Yeah, but Stoltzfus, I mean, he's kind of a weird guy. He's a weird fighter. He's hard to kind of train for. Yeah, I just don't know if he's going to be able to get it done over there in Canada against a guy that's probably going to put out similar output to him, and then you've got to worry about the judges as well. So I do think it goes the distance. I don't think there's a finish. And this day and age, I mean, unless you're putting money on the underdog, you're going to be nervous when the judges start reading their cards. So, yeah, this is one I'm probably just going to stay away from.
Yeah, this is a tricky one, and I agree with you because I can't say that I have certainty on either side. Checkered records, like in terms of losses and a win, loss and a win. Some of them are like getting round 1, round 2 finishes, but they're getting finished in round 1, round 2, or going to split decision like Marc-Andre Barriault did with Chris Curtis. I would probably, from a betting standpoint, also stay off this one because as much as I could see it going to decision, I could also see a finish potentially coming out. There could be that absolute crazy double spinning back fist. There could be a flying knee, the head kick. Who knows? But hopefully it's a really good fight, and I hope because we do have the Canadian on the card, it's certainly going to continue to keep that arena pumping. So that's probably all I've got on that one. All right, so we're going to move on to the first fight on the main card. Now we're working backwards. Another Canadian, the one that looks like Clark Kent, Superman, Mike Malott, taking on the American in Trevin Giles. This should be good. This would be interesting. I've always thought that Mike seems to have a lot of talent. It's just a case of continuing to gain the experience and put it together. But having said that, Trevin certainly had some of those moments himself. So what do you got on this one, Aussie?
Yeah, this is, like you said, this is a good fight. I really like Mike Malott. I think the UFC's kind of given up on Trevin Giles at this point. Mike Malott, he came out last time and he was dominating Neil Magny and then lost in that 3rd round and cost me about $27,000. So that really sucked because I had a massive bet ending that needed Mike Malott to get the finish there. But yeah, unfortunately that didn't come through. But I'm backing him again. I like him to win by submission here. I think Trevin Giles can get himself into some awkward positions, and I think Mike Malott, even if he knocks him down, I've got a feeling he's probably going to grab a neck or something instead of just pounding him out. So, yeah, I'm leaning towards Malott here. I'm not too keen on his minus 300 money line, but I do like his plus 250 submission prop. So, yeah, give me some Mike Malott here. I think he probably gets it done, and he's Canadian, so he's probably going to get the crowd going after getting a submission win here over Giles.
Yeah, definitely. And again, flicking through both their records, they've got some decent competition. So you made a really good point around Malott did drop that loss to Magny. I, on the other hand, did back Magny on that because I suspected there was going to be the vet skill coming out to play. However, he looked great. He looks great up until that point. So I think he's going to get a good bounce back. Trevin Giles, on the other hand, he got KO'd by Prates, who's about to main event, like surely. So that there's no shame in that loss. And he got submitted by Gabriel Bonfim as well. So it's going to be an interesting fight. And I think this could potentially be one of those ones that really does deliver and could be a contender for fight of the night. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but, hometown boy wanting to bounce back, make some noise, kicking off the main card. Trevin absolutely needs to make a statement. He needs a win here. So fingers crossed we get the energy, right? Should be good.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Yeah, for sure. So look, we've covered all of the main card. What we might do now, Aussie, is just pick out maybe one or two of the key key exciting ones in the prelims, because there is no shortage of excitement in that card. So with that, I'll get you to maybe grab one that you want to cover.
Okay, sure. Look, I'll go for the featured prelim here with the Munoz Zahabi. I really don't rate Zahabi at all. I think, having a brother that's a head coach hasn't really done him that many favors. I mean, both these guys are kind of old now. 36 for Zahabi, 38 for Munoz. But the difference being Munoz has fought some of the best guys to ever do it, and Zahabi, I'm sure, has trained with some of the best guys to ever do it. But he hasn't really been put in that spot where he can actually show that he's capable of doing against somebody as experienced as Munoz. So, yeah, I really like Munoz here. I think he's going to give Zahabi a lot of problems with the leg kicks. I just think it's time for him to kind of get back on track here. So, yeah, I like Munoz. I think he can probably get a decision here. Again, it's going up against a Canadian. That's always got to be at the back of your mind when you're dealing with these judges. But I just got to look at this. Everyone's on Zahabi here, yeah. So I noticed the line is getting a bit better on Pedro Munoz, who opened as a favourite. Now you can get him at a dog price. So, yeah, I was looking into betting him by decision, but the line is just not that great for decision. It's only about 60 cents difference. So, yeah, I might just take his money line. I don't think Zahabi can finish Munoz. Munoz has never been finished. All his losses have been by decision. So I do think this fight probably goes. And I'm just hoping Munoz can win 2 of the 3 rounds. And I honestly think he's going to beat that leg up pretty good. And, who knows? Maybe he gets him out of there in that 3rd round. So you probably don't want to be holding on that decision ticket if he can get it done a bit later in the fight. You can't be spewing if he gets it done in the last minute or 2. And you had the decision for an extra, few cents.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I think that'll be a really good fight as well. Definitely on the same side as you. I think Munoz gets that done, most likely decision. I think if I was to go for another fight in the prelims that I'm really, really keen on is probably Charles Air Jourdain taking on La Mangosta, Victor Henry. I think this is going to be an explosive, fun fight. Charles is on a 2-fight losing streak, right? He got KO'd by Jean Silva not too long ago, only 3 months ago. You've always got a question, is that too quick to come back? Wow. Silva's a monster. And then before that, he dropped his split decision loss to Sean Woodson, who is sharp as on the feet. But he's got some excellent competition on his record, and I think he's got a really exciting fight style. Victor Henry again, but he's pushing 37. Charles is 28. He's probably got a bit of miles on the chin. This is going to be very interesting. Where do you see this one going, Aussie?
Yeah, I like Victor Henry here. Like you said, the age is really the only thing holding him back here. I'm kind of surprised that Charles Jourdain is as young as he is. I thought he'd been around quite a while, but how was he, 28? Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of miles left in him. So, yeah, I like Henry here, though. I think he's probably going to be able to wrestle him down and get plenty of control time here. And you're really relying on Jourdain to be able to get up and do something spectacular. But I've noticed with Jourdain, even when he's got a lot more gas in the tank than his opponent, in that 3rd round, he really doesn't go for the kill. Especially, if he thinks he's winning. A few times I've thought he's going to get somebody out of there, but he just doesn't manage to get the job done and get that finish. The killer instinct really dies off after the 1st round. So, I think Victor Henry here is probably going to wrestle away to a decision here. I don't think it's going to be too crazy of a fight. I just think he's going to do enough to get it done.
That's really interesting. So I know that Tapology community is definitely expecting this probably goes the distance, like you've said. I wonder. So looking at Victor's record, he's never been KO'd, he's never been subbed, but he's dropped 6 decision losses. What's the value on Charles knocking him out? Because that might be a cheeky little
I bet it's
bet throw out there, because
he's got a really good guillotine too.
Yeah. What's the finish prop on Charles? Because you're right. If this does go to decision, it's likely it's going to be because Victor's grinding out, the grappling and all that kind of stuff. Charles has a chance on the feet. He's just got to catch you.
Yeah, definitely. So let's have a quick look. Sportsbet doesn't have the odds up yet, but I go to bet 365. Yeah, Charles KO is plus 500, and his sub is plus 1,600. Like I said, he does
Wow.
have a few guillotines, and he's going to get a guillotine chance in this fight. Victor Henry's
Oh,
takedown. So yeah,
shoots
it's going to
and
be
I like that.
yeah.
I like it. All right, it's
But
a
like
bit
you said,
crazy.
he's never been finished. 35.
Hey, neither had Max. Neither had Max. And you and I also were thinking, well, it's
Don't
never happened.
remind
It
me.
happened. Oh my God. So yeah, I don't know what I think about that anymore. When you start to, accumulate the miles, the question is when, not if. Fuck, I'm still devastated about that. But anyway.
That's right.
Shut up, Blessed Express. All right, grab another one, and then I'll grab another one, and we'll probably start to wrap. So any other one on the prelims that is floating your boat?
Oh yeah, okay. Let's have a quick look because my topology screen just died.
That's all right. How about we do the
yeah,
first
I mean, why not have which one?
I was going to say the first fight of the
which
night.
fight?
We've got Jack Shaw and Yusuf Zalal. It's the first fight of the evening. And the Welshman, Jack Shaw, taking on.
Yeah. Well, my first look at the car, I couldn't believe that Jack Shaw by sub is plus 1,400. Yeah, I got to take a bit of a stab on that. I mean, the guy's a pretty good submission guy. I think a lot of his win equity is tied up in the submission. I don't think he's really going to win rounds here. Yusuf Zalal is very quick on the feet. He's if you do take him down, he's probably going to get up. It's just about whether or not he gives up his back when he's doing it. And that's definitely going to be a problem against Jack Shaw. He can definitely grab your back and get something done in some of these positions. But I mean, Jack Shaw, I don't think he's planning to go in there and mix it up on the feet. He's planning to grab a hold of him, whether he takes his back standing or drags him down to the mat. That's his game plan for sure. Yusuf Zalal, he's going to be kicking legs. He's going to be switching stances. He's going to be pretty busy on the feet. So, yeah, I think Jack Shaw, he might be a little bit stronger than he looks. He looked a little soft in there sometimes, but I just think he's going to probably be a bit bigger than Zalal, though. And if he can get to some of these positions, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a chance he can pull off a submission. So, yeah, I got a bit on his submission prop there. It's plus 1,400.
Yeah, I like that. And it looks like, he's a decent underdog, isn't he, compared to Zalal? Interesting. Now, again, I'm just looking at the Tapology community and what they're kind of picking. Zalal's an absolute standout as far as they're concerned. 80% assume he's going to win and decent KO and sub. I lean Shaw. I think he's yet to put it all together, but what he does, I think he's going to be very, very good. Whereas, they're both the same age. I don't know. I think it'll be a good fight, and I think hopefully there's lots of blood, lots of violence, and sets the tone for an incredible card.
Yeah, I think having that loss to champion is kind of starting to look a lot better in people's eyes, and then he came back to the UFC and just kind of looked really good. I think he was a decent underdog in that fight. So yeah, he's everybody's darling at the moment. But I mean, this is another one where he should be a favorite, but should he be this big a favorite?
Yeah, definitely. All right. Did you want to pick one more Aussie, and then we might wrap there on our rapid fire for the day?
All right. I'll save him the best fight for last. Alexander Romanov is back. The man is back. Yeah, I don't know about this Romanov, and he looks great. Sometimes he comes in and he looks like he's never trained a day in his life. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to know what to expect out of this guy, but he could get a hold of him. He spends a lot of energy getting these takedowns. These aren't single leg takedowns or anything. He's a Greco guy. He likes to pick people up over his head, and he just doesn't have the gas tank to support it. We've seen in the past he can get tired after 2 minutes, start looking at the clock in round one and start panicking. So, yeah. I don't really like any of the props, like whether it's decision, KO, sub. I don't think there's a prop on this fight that's over plus 500, which is kind of crazy. There's normally always a prop that stands out, but in this fight, there's really nothing. But if this fight goes past round one, really look to live bet Nascimento here. He probably loses round one, gets bullied around a little bit, but Romanov, I think he's really going to gas out. If he comes in like he did against some of his previous opponents, he's going to get tired. Nascimento being a jiu-jitsu guy, he might be able to pull off a submission or something. Romanov's got some subs on his records, but when you look into him, like forearm chokes and a lot of kind of white belt moves that he manages to pull off just because of his size and strength. But Make no mistake about it. Nascimento is the better jiu-jitsu guy, and if he gets on top of Romanov, I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to find an arm triangle or something. Whereas if Romanov's on top, I think Nascimento can defend and last the round as long as he doesn't get pounded out. But Romanov isn't really that big on the ground and pound, so I do think if this fight starts round 2, it's Nascimento's fight to lose. So might be a good live betting spot.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Really, really interesting, because I was thinking maybe this does go to the decision. Maybe. I don't know why I think that, because when I flick back through the stats, Nascimento has only been decision 3 times. Romanov also has only been there 3 times. The majority of the wins on both sides are coming from the submission angle, which probably suggests to me somebody's going to nullify that with a knee, an elbow, or something, and maybe the KO prop is live. It's an interesting one.
Yeah. Well, the crowd's going to be hoping for that, because if this goes the distance, that third round's going to be real sloppy and not very entertaining. So, yeah.
Exactly. No, really, really
I might
good
even
call.
look at the round 3 prop, actually. Round 3 for Nascimento's plus 1,200. I might just play that pre-fight, to be honest, and hope it pulls off, manage to pull it off.
Absolutely. Little sprinkle. If you don't try, you don't get. Absolutely. Well, this is going to be a very, very good card, I am sure, going down in UFC in Edmonton, Canada. So with that, we'll probably sign out. Thank you for joining our little rapid breakdown. More content coming your way soon. Aussie, you have a great day.
You too. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thank you.